Ayan, setting up.
Okay na, guys. Yeah. So yes, good evening everyone and welcome to our live session with Mr. Brainy Brian 9.0. So don't forget to hashtag, guys. Comment nyo or i-share ninyo hashtag Brainy Brian 9.0 ulit. Welcome Gladys and Marvin. How are
Hi,
you
good
guys?
evening, Philippines, and good afternoon, Middle East, Sir Jeff, Sir Brian, and Ms. Gladys. And now we're privileged again to have our review, the expert himself from 9.09ers Online Review Center, Mr. Brian Martin Sioson. Sir Brian?
Hi. Hello, good evening, guys. Hello, we're just waiting for some people to join us in the Facebook Live. Today we have a very exciting session. I'm not sure if I'm excited or I'm extremely nervous because we're going to be doing live on the spot writing task 2.
Yeah, I think that's really intense.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone is watching you right now all over the globe.
yeah. I know. All right. So I hope I can give justice to the writing tasks that we'll be writing for today. Okay, so yeah. Those who are
Okay.
attending today, if you are with your friends, you can share this link to your friends so that they can also join us this evening. We'll get started in a few minutes.
Okay, Sir Brian. I'm the one who will be posting the... Hello? I will be the one who will be posting the questions.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so can we start now?
Okay, probably we can get started. But before I get started, I'll probably need to do a quick session about writing task 2 so that our audience will know what this examination is all about. And they will be familiar with what the examination is and probably also what examiners are looking for in a sample for writing task 2 before we get to the actual live writing session. Okay, so let me just prepare my slides because I have my slides ready. Okay, right. So just give me a moment as I set up. Yeah. All right. And for those people who are joining us for the very first time, I would like to also share our online platform, which is www.nineronlinereview.com. And here you can actually find some more of the live writing sessions that I do. All you need to do is to sign into your account if you have already an account with 9.09er and key in your details. So for example, in my case, because I'm already enrolled, I'll just need to sign in and look at your dashboard for Ielts, unlimited review. And when you click that, you'll be able to go and see all of the classes that we have on offer here at 9.09er. But more importantly, we have the IELTS writing program, and this is actually facilitated by yours truly. We have literally all types of questions here and live answers to all of those questions. Yes, you get to see me live writing on the spot for every type of question for writing task 1 and also for writing task 2. I assume that for the session that we have today, we won't be able to cover all of the different questions, but if you're an enrollee of 9.09er, you will be able to access all of these courses or all of these lessons anytime and anywhere, because of course this is absolutely recorded, so you get access to that in your online dashboard. So I guess before I get started, I would like to give you a quick overview of what writing is in your IELTS, and in particular for today we are going to talk about writing task 2, which is the essay writing component of your examination. So let me go ahead and start with the lecture. Okay, so IELTS writing task 2 is actually an essay writing test. As I've already mentioned a while ago, you're supposed to write a minimum of 250 words, and you're recommended to spend only 40 minutes on this task. You also have to make sure that you follow the instructions that are provided for you in the examination. When we talk about instructions in the examination, these are the types of questions that you can get. You have, do you agree or disagree? Or to what extent do you agree or disagree? Give your opinion. We have discussable views, give your opinion, open-ended questions, or do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? There are varied types of questions that you can get in your writing examination. So it is very important that you know how to attack every single one of them, because unfortunately for IELTS, there's no one size fits all approach that will enable you to answer literally all types of questions with just one format or one structure. It is very important that you know how to address every type of task, because not all types of questions are identical to each other. Although the great majority of questions will require you to write an opinion. Remember that writing task 2 is going to accrue more points compared to writing task 1. This is going to carry 2/3 of your test score, more weight. This is 66.66% of your total band score. Writing task 1, on the other hand, being a shorter essay, a shorter letter or a shorter report, will only be for a total of 33.33% or 1/3 of your total band score. Now, this examination is extremely important because it can make or break you in the examination. And I think that the most common problem among test takers is that they just don't know what to do. Like when they see the task, they don't know how to get started. They don't know how to compose their essays. And hopefully after this session, you would understand the process of going about writing for IELTS writing task 2. Okay, now I would also want to emphasize that in this examination, you will be graded according to 4 band score criteria. We have task response or task attainment, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource or vocabulary, and grammar. Each one of these 4 will share 25% of your total band score, and the average will be your grade for your writing examination. Task response is your ability to answer the question. The better the response, the higher the score. The more persuasive your essay is, the higher the score. It's also your ability to meet the minimum number of words, which is for IELTS writing task to 250 words. In the examination, I don't want you to write only 250 words. If you can go over, that will be nicer. So if you can write perhaps 270 words to write about 320 words or over, just don't make it too long that it's hard for you to edit your essay. Make sure that you still have some time after the test is over to proofread what you have written. And also, task response talks about the quality of your answers. So you have to be an informed candidate. Now, there's something that I need to tell you about IELTS. IELTS questions aren't political. IELTS questions are not controversial. IELTS questions are supposed to be globally relevant or significant, which means to say that no matter where you are in the world, you should be able to relate to those questions. There are over 500 testing centers for IELTS worldwide, and all people across all nations in the world where IELTS is offered should be able to relate to or identify themselves in the questions that come out in the IELTS. And for that reason, questions in IELTS are very predictable because they are just repeated multiple times. So if you have seen past IELTS questions or topics for IELTS that have come out before, or perhaps from review materials like the compilation of writing that we have here at 9.09er, you will be able to predict what potential questions you might get in the exam. There are plenty, don't get me wrong. There are many of these questions that you can be asked, so many different topics, but if you're familiar with them, then you have definitely an advantage in the examination because you'll be able to answer questions much better if you're an informed candidate, rather than when you don't know anything about the question or the topic and you're going to force yourself to write something. So you have to be an informed candidate when you're sitting the examination. Don't rely on your stock knowledge because sometimes you don't really have much. So you want to do some research. Make sure to research on the topics that you're not very familiar with, because who knows, maybe that topic might be your actual question when you take the examination. All right, so what else? Now you will be graded according to how organized your essay is as well. That's your coherence and cohesion. That's another component by which you're going to be graded. That's a couple of things actually. We have coherence, which is how organized your essay is, your paragraphing, and your layout in the examination. Of course, you will have your intro, your body, and your conclusion. These are the basic parts of your essay, but how you structure your paragraphs in the body and how you structure your introduction and conclusion paragraphs as well will impact your grade for coherence. Whereas cohesion is how your sentences and your paragraphs are linked to each other. So you need to make use of transitional devices like signpost words. In addition, furthermore, moreover, however, these are just some examples, but you shouldn't be so concentrated on using signpost words only. You should also be using conjunctions like whereas or while or although or because. And you should also use pronouns such as your demonstrative pronouns, including this, that, those, or these, or relative pronouns like which or where or who, in which, etc., so that you'll be able to link your sentences and your paragraphs together, and there will be a seamless flow in your examination. That's coherence and cohesion, the second criterion by which you're going to be graded in the test. And then you have your lexical resource, which is something that we have talked about in previous classes. I talked about how you should be able to use a wide range of vocabulary accurately and appropriately, and using different collocations to make your language more accurate. You don't need big words, you don't need fancy terms, you just need to make sure that you're using a wide range of vocabulary in the test. And perhaps the best way to do this is providing examples, because when you do so, you're able to find a topic to talk about in which you're going to be able to access your inner vocabulary and maximize the vocabulary that you're writing in the test. And finally, you'll be graded for the accuracy of your grammar. Later, as I do the writing task, and this is absolutely live, I am 100% certain I'm going to make mistakes. So just bear with me, ignore the mistakes, because I'm going to proofread the essay anyway before I let you read the entire thing. So in Ielts, you cannot expect to be perfect, but you need to allot some time to proofread your work so that you'll be able to edit out those errors in the examination and make everything clean. You should have very good control of your linguistic features in the examination, your language features in the examination. You should have very good control of your grammar. You shouldn't commit a lot of mistakes, and at least majority of the sentences should be accurate for you to get a decent score in your exam. And all in all, when you sum up all of them and then you average, then you get your overall score for the Ielts writing examination, which is going to be 2/3 of your test score for the examination. We have 1/3 for Ielts writing task 1. We always advise that you do writing task 2 first, because it's actually the more important examination. So if you can spend more time on writing task 2, doing it first, making sure that it's accomplished before you move on to task 1, that's actually a very good practice when you're doing your test or when you're sitting your Ielts. Okay. Now, let us proceed to the next slide. I don't really have a lot of slides, guys, right? I'm just going to talk about a few things because the focus and the priority for tonight is to actually write, okay, to teach you how to write. So where's my next slide? Right here. Okay, so we have different types of instructions. I'm going to talk about them later as I collect all of your questions. We're going to jump to the writing process, and this is very important. I usually use a linear model for writing because it's easier to understand. There are other models, but essentially they say the same things. You need to make sure you prepare first by means of brainstorming perhaps or outlining, and then you write after you have prepared your plan, and never forget to edit your paper after you're done with your writing. This is a very effective way by which you're going to be able to answer the questions and make sure that you're going to beat the time. This is going to make sure that you finish the examination right on time, because there's a tendency for many candidates not to accomplish the examination or not to finish the task. So the reason for that is most of the time when you're writing, you're thinking also, you're doing two things at the same time. You're writing and you're also thinking of what to write next, which is going to take a toll on your speed, because it will look as if you're always gaining momentum and you're never getting there. You're never gaining momentum because you're always picking up yourself from scratch. And that's not very good in IELTS. So you have to make sure that you plan first before you write anything. Oh, here's a question from Dimple. Hello, Sir Brian. This is a very long question. Is it possible to enroll here in Niners while working 12 hours a day as an OFW here in Hong Kong? I'm planning to take an exam in general. And sir, if I can enroll and review here at Niner, but due to my working schedule, I'm only available 10 p.m. onwards. That's fine because we have speaking practice from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. And also we have recorded lessons that you can watch anytime and anywhere. So you're in full control over your schedule. Plus our one-on-one tutorials here at 9.09er are running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can actually have coaching any time of the day. So I don't think the schedule will be that much of a problem. We have a lot of students who are working, but they're able to study and prepare for IELTS using the platform and the technological tools that we have here in our center. Okay, so who's excited for the writing test? I'm not. Honestly, I'm quite nervous. How many people do we have attending this session right now? Let's look at the Facebook Live. How many people do we have here? Would you give me a like or whatnot? Right, to encourage me, just press the heart button. We have 341, okay, attendees from Facebook, right? Okay, so at this point, I'm not going to anymore delay. I'm going to go ahead and start writing for you. Okay, so it's very important that someone teaches you how to write. Don't you think so? Wouldn't you agree with me? It's very important that somebody teaches you how to write. Because most of the time, people don't actually teach you how to write. Am I correct? People teach you to read. Yeah, you get samples, right? And people would say, oh, this is a band 9 sample. This is a band 8 sample. And nobody explains to you how that sample is actually created. Nobody explains to you how that was crafted from start to finish. So you're always guessing how to construct something of a similar, rating as that one or similar quality as the sample that you have been presented. So there's always a disconnect. I always want to talk about this like an analogy, like when you go to restaurants, right? Sometimes you taste good food, like pastries. I love cake. I love eating sweets. So I want to compare it to cake. Sometimes when you go out and you eat like a slice of cake that's so delicious, it's delicious because you have tried so many different varieties of cake before. So it's good. But if somebody tells you to replicate the same recipe, will you be able to do it? Will you be able to bake a cake like that? Certainly not, because nobody is teaching you how to do it. So just like in writing, sometimes you're fed with outputs. You have a lot of outputs, like a lot of samples, but nobody's teaching you how to write those samples. So if somebody's going to teach you step by step, every component from the ingredients to the procedure to, the decorations of the cake, then certainly with practice, it's not overnight, but with practice, you'll be able to replicate something like that and succeed in baking the cake, just like writing. If somebody's going to walk you through the process step by step, then certainly after some time, you will be able to learn how to write to the level or the standard that is required for you to get a good score in the test. Okay. All right. So what do you think? You can throw me your questions and I'm going to select from the list of questions. Right, so please post your questions. Yeah, like don't pick controversial questions because IELTS is never controversial. It should be for general readership and it should be relatable to all people. So try to find past IELTS questions. We can work on those questions today. I want to see as many different types of questions as possible. I might do one, or if I'm not yet tired, maybe a couple. right? So Eddie here is saying, I agree, writing is my weakness, and this kind of session is very helpful and encouraging. Thanks in advance. Thank you as well for attending. All right. Oh, IFNG has already selected the questions to answer. Okay, so you can post your questions here and I'll make a selection. Okay, right. So please post your questions. Now remember, IELTS questions need to be number 1, general, and number 2, relatable to all people. Right. So yeah. Can you, admin, can you post your questions? And I also want to see what questions we have from the audience. Let's try to see what we can actually do with those questions. Okay. So this is about animal endangerment. Okay, so let me just very quickly look at the question right here. Some people say that the main environmental problem of our time is the loss of particular species of plants and animals. So this is an like endangerment. Others say there are more important environmental problems. Discuss both views and give your opinion. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this question so that we can, you know, manipulate this question more easily. So just give me some time to copy the question. I'm gonna type it like, you know, manually. So give me some time. Right, so this is about animal endangerment. People say that the main environmental problem of our time is the loss of particular species of plants and animals. Others say that there are more important, so we're talking about environmental problems, important environmental problems, right? Okay, discuss both views, and give your opinion. So I'm sorry, guys, I'm typing the questions. Okay, so give me a moment. All right, we have some people who are posting questions here. All right, but I will be working on the one that the admin has provided for me, right? For now, but yeah, please post your questions because later I might actually choose another question to answer, right? Okay, we will probably be answering just a few. Okay, so yeah, I will be sharing my screen right now so that we can see the question, and I'm going to teach you how to write for it. Okay, how to do everything from scratch. Okay, right. So here we have a discussable views, give your opinion question. So I'm going to just give you a background about, or like an overview of what discussable views, give your opinion is. This is a type of question that is actually not very common in the IELTS, but it does come out in the test. And when we have discussable views and give your opinion questions, you have to discuss the two sides, but it's also imperative that you write an opinion. So insofar as you want to discuss the two sides equally, it is also quite important for you to write your stand. Okay, so here, the format is intro, body, conclusion. Your introduction will just be basically the topic or the two arguments. You're going to talk about the two arguments in your introduction. You don't need to write your stand in your introduction because you're going to be writing it towards the end of the essay as your conclusion. Some people would want to, and this is actually a common practice among people, write like an opinion paragraph, but I do not necessarily think it is important in the examination for you to write a separate opinion paragraph because it's going to be in it's going to be very similar to what you're going to be writing in the other paragraphs. So you just have to write an introduction and then go and talk about the first view or the first argument. And then I'm going to put argument 1, and then you're going to write the second argument, and then you're going to write the conclusion plus your stand. This is your opinion. This is what you believe in. It is very important that you have a clear position throughout the response. So even if you discuss the two views separately, it is very important that you have a conclusion which will cite your opinion as well. Okay, right. So you have to help me out here. Okay, so you have to help me out. Okay, because this is actually an interactive class. I'm looking at both the Zoom meeting right here and as well the Facebook Live. So if you have your arguments, please let me know. Okay, what those are. I'm going to be inserting a table right here because usually this is the best way I think you should be writing your essays. You can write your argument, you can write your reason, you can write your examples, and you can go and say, so what? Right. So let's get started with the first view. Right. So this is the brainstorming and outlining part of the writing. Some people say that the main, okay, so the keyword here is main environmental problem of our time is the loss of particular species. So this is actually animal and plant endangerment. So endangerment, okay, of animals or species, various species of animals, animals and plants. Why do you think is it the most important problem, okay, that is confronted by the world right now? Why is it the most important environmental problem? So Miko here saying it can cause an imbalance in the ecosystem. All right, maybe. Let me choose your arguments here because I'm not going to be putting a lot. You know, in IELTS, you don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to put all of the reasons. You just have to select a few reasons to put into your essay because at the end of the day, you just need to defend your stand. Okay, so yeah, it can cause an imbalance in the ecosystem. What else, guys? What do you think? Right? You can post your comments on the message box. Let me see what your arguments are. Apart from an imbalance in the ecosystem, why is it a major problem for people if there's endangerment of various species of animals and plants? Right. Urbanization is more of like a cause of this one. Yes. Okay. So it can, yeah, I think that has something to do with also the imbalance in the ecosystem, like, you know, food source problems, right? That people cannot actually anymore, because of certain species of animals and plants dying out, it affects the food chain. And the problem there is that many animals will die and also many plants will actually perish. And as a result of that, there will be a shortage or scarcity in resources, particularly food resources, that can trickle down to people, right? To humans. Okay. Right. Okay. Diane has a comment. Attending Sir Brian's lecture is the key to passing your writing. Listen to him and learn how he writes his output by heart because that's how I pass my exam. Thank you so much for that comment. But make sure it's organized. Write down your advantages and disadvantages per topic in the orange book to familiarize yourselves. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for that testament, right? Testimonial, Diane, right? Okay, climate change is a different problem, right? We can talk about those causes. Can we talk about the causes? Because here the question is, some people say that the main environmental problem of our time is the loss of particular species. We just need to defend why it is very vital right now and why it is the top environmental problem. Okay, can you give me examples of this? So I'm seeing animal exploitation right here. So are we talking about poaching? Okay, what else, right? Apart from poaching or killing animals for their body parts, to sorry, sorry. Okay, so to yeah, for bags, shoes, accessories, and stuff. What else? Loss of habitat, right? Okay, right. Yeah, loss of habitat. Okay, yeah, like new infrastructure are built. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Right. So what else? Yeah. Exploitation of natural resources, including illegal fishing, mining, right? Legal fishing. Oh, sorry guys. Fishing, mining. What else? And logging. Okay, sige. Right. So what happens now to people if animals are endangered. Certain species of animals are dying out. Many different types of plants are starting to become endangered. What happens to people? Right? What happens to you? Does it affect your life? Does it impact your life? Right? Is there any impact? Yeah. So this causes scarcity in resources. Okay. Particularly food sources. Okay. All right. Okay. So there you go. Particularly, right? Okay. Food. The food source, okay, of humans, right? So there you go. But it says here that others say that there are more important environmental problems. Can you give me two environmental problems that are more important than this one? Okay. So yeah, can you give me like a couple of environmental problems that are more important compared to the endangerment of animals and plants? Climate change, right? What else? Climate change and global warming, that's just one. Okay. What else? Pollution. Yeah, we can actually use pollution there. All right. So there. These are two. We're going to talk. Oh, why did I write two, guys? Because it says there are more important environmental problems. Okay. We are talking about not just one problem, but many different problems. Yeah, that's plural. Okay. So climate change, why is it important? Okay. Why is it critical? Right? Climate change can cause what? What could be the impact of that? I'm teaching you how to use your brain, because in the examination, you will have to always use your brain, at least for the outlining part, not so much for the writing part, but for the outlining and brainstorming part, it is very important that you have brains with you, that you brought with you to the test. Okay, climate change. Why is it important? Okay, what could be the impact of this one? For example, yeah, droughts. These are examples, right? Droughts, okay, or what else? Like typhoons, okay, yeah, floods, okay. So these are some examples, no? So the general category to this is actually natural calamities, okay. Intensify there's an intensification, right? Okay, natural calamities, which can lead to what will happen? Okay, and yeah, extreme weather conditions. Okay, extreme and unpredictable, right? Unpredictable weather conditions. What happens? Like droughts, typhoons, and floods come in. What happens? Death. A lot of people die, right? Okay. Right. So how about pollution? Okay. Yeah, right. Loss of many people's lives. Okay. So yeah, how about pollution? Pollution is an important problem as well, because why? Why is it important? Yes, because it leads to not only to the destruction of the environment, but also, okay, um uh but also it affects the health of people. It also affects the health of people, right? Can you give me some diseases you can get from pollution? Right? Yeah, it's a health hazard. Yes. Respiratory problems. What else? I'm seeing some more people typing here. Yeah. Okay. What kinds of diseases? Yes, cancer, like lung cancer. Yeah. And yep. So respiratory diseases and cancer, mainly, a lot of cancers can be from pollution, right? Okay. And decreased air quality. Yeah, right. So what happens to people, okay, if they're sick? It takes a toll on what? Okay, on the takes a toll on the health and well-being of individuals. Right. I just kept it simple like that. You don't really have to make it super grand because you don't really have a lot of time in your examination. So this is actually what you want to do if you're preparing for your exam. Try to create a table, try to put all of your arguments there. Don't worry about lower life expectancy. We can actually put that as well. Lower life expectancy and quality of life. All right. So guys, which do you think is more important? The endangerment of animals or plants as a problem, or other problems? Which do you think is of greater weight here? The first view, number one, just type one, or number two, climate change and pollution. Which one is more important? All right, so I'm seeing a lot of people posting. Please type one for endangerment of animals and plants, and number two for climate change and pollution. Seeing more people typing climate change and other problems. Okay, all right, that's fine. Doesn't matter really what your point of view is. What matters is that you have a clear and consistent position throughout the response. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. Okay, are we ready to write? Yes, we are. So I'm just going to copy this question right here just to prepare myself for the writing, because I do not subscribe to the idea that you should be writing a creative introduction. I do not write creative intros in the exam. Hello to our 452 FB live viewers and 55 Zoom participants. Hello guys, and welcome to my class. I hope you're having fun thinking and using your brain. Now we're going to go to the execution part. Okay, so as I've said a while ago, I do not subscribe to the idea that you need a creative essay or a creative introduction to attract the attention of your examiner. Keep it simple, because if you're going to write something very complicated in the beginning, you're probably going to get tired before you write anything. So just write something simple, very straightforward. And the best way to start is to just paraphrase the task description. That's probably the best start to it. Just use the task description, this one, just change up the words a little bit. Use that as your introduction in the test. This is going to ensure that you're going to be able to launch right away into your essay, and it's going to significantly reduce the amount of time that you're spending in your test. Okay. Right. So let's get things started. Okay, so I'm going to put the time right here because I want to know how many minutes we have spent for this essay. So let's get started. Some people say that the main environmental problems, so we can actually write, there are those, my typing, there are those who hold the view that the most important environmental issue today that people confront today is the endangerment or extinction of various species of plants or animals and plants. However, there are those who oppose this view strongly, or this belief, or this belief strongly, and claim that there are more vital environmental problems that governments and individuals should be focusing their attention into. All right, so we're done with the intro. Doesn't take 1 minute to write. All we need to do is to paraphrase and expand the question a little bit. And then next, we're going to write the first argument. And this is our first argument. How convenient, right? We have everything right here. I'm a little forgetful. That's why I'm putting it right here. So let's talk about the first view. Okay, right. Support, right? Those who support the opinion that, okay, animal and plant endangerment, okay, is the most crucial environmental, okay, problem that people are now beset with point to the fact that this causes an imbalance in the ecosystem and the food chain because of massive deforestation, okay, indiscriminate poaching and hunting, right? And and large scale conversion of animal habitats into commercial or residential districts. Okay, many animals and plants nowadays are on the verge of extinction. All right, there you go. On top of this, okay, it does not help that people, okay, engage in such activities as illegal fishing, mining, and logging, which further reduces animal populations, okay, animal and plant, okay, sorry, and plant populations, thereby leading to scarcity of resources, particularly okay, the food source, affecting not only the animals or the species in the wild, but also humans, okay, in general, right? And we're done with the first argument. That's it, guys. We can move on to the next one, right? So we are finished. Okay, let's move on to the next paragraph. We're gonna talk about climate change and all, right? However, okay, however, I used however already? Yeah. So on the other hand will be a better transition. On the other hand, some people assert, okay, or maybe you can use individuals because people has been overused already, assert that other problems, including climate change, are more important matters to attend to, okay? For one, okay, this problem can lead, or this environmental concern, environmental phenomenon. Sorry about that. My keyboard is losing sync with my PC. Can lead to more intense, okay, natural calamities, natural calamities, and extreme or unpredictable weather conditions, including longer droughts, stronger typhoons, okay, and heavy flooding, okay, leading to the death of thousands, if not millions of people every year, okay? Furthermore, okay, right, they say that pollution is another vital issue to tackle, for this leads to, or results in both the destruction of the environment and also health problems among people, among the worldwide population. Okay, examples of such diseases people can get from a polluted environment are respiratory conditions and cancer. All right, okay, due to decreased, okay, air quality, ultimately taking a toll on the health, well-being, and life expectancy of people. Done with the second paragraph. We're finished. We're gonna just conclude in summary. Although there are legitimate reasons to believe that animal and plant endangerment is a severe environmental problem that is faced by many individuals today. I do not subscribe to the view that this is the most essential. In my view, or from my perspective, maybe from my perspective, there are other problems, okay, that need to be dealt with effectively, both from the governmental and societal levels, okay, to improve the quality, or to protect, okay, yeah, and then yeah, you can just put the period there. We're done. Okay, there we go, because it can get longer. So I spent how many minutes? It's 9:45 from 9:37, so 8 minutes. Oh yeah, 8 minutes. We're done. We're finished in 8 minutes. Let me just put the amount of time I spent writing. It's 8 minutes right here. Yeah, okay. So we still have 22 minutes. Oh, no. Sorry. How many minutes? 32 minutes in the exam. Now I'm going to edit. Okay, so I just want to zoom this out so that everybody can see. As you can see, my paragraphs are kind of even. So I'm going to check this one for grammar and vocabulary issues, as you could see. All right, so I'm going to read from the top. There are those who hold the view that the most important environmental issue that people confront today, the people are confronting, okay, right? Confronting today is the endangerment or extinction of their species of animals and plants. However, there are those who oppose this belief strongly. All right, so who are of the opinion na lang here, no? Who are of the opinion that, and then oppose this view strongly and claim that there are more vital environmental problems the governments and individuals should be focusing their attention into. Okay. Those who support the opinion that animal and plant endangerment is the most crucial environmental problem that people are now beset with point to the fact that this causes an imbalance in the ecosystem and food chain because of massive deforestation, indiscriminate poaching and hunting, and large-scale conversion of animal habitats into commercial or residential districts. Many animals and plants nowadays are on the verge of extinction. On top of this, it does not help that people engage in such activities as illegal fishing, mining, and logging, which further reduces, this is actually incorrect grammatically, animal and plant populations, thereby leading to scarcity of resources, particularly the food source, affecting not only food supply, maybe because resource has been used, affecting not only the species in the wild, but also humans in general. On the other hand, some individuals assert that other problems, including climate change, are more important matters to attend to. For one, this environmental phenomenon, so we can actually remove environmental there. This phenomenon can lead to more intense natural calamities and extreme or unpredictable weather conditions, including longer droughts, stronger typhoons, and heavy flooding, leading to the death of thousands, if not millions of people every year. Furthermore, they say that pollution is another vital issue to tackle. For this results, so there should be a comma there. For this results in both the destruction of the environment and also, so both and also is not correct. So both and health problems among the worldwide population. Examples of such diseases people can get from a polluted environment are respiratory conditions and cancer due to decreased air quality, ultimately taking a toll on the health, well-being, and life expectancy of people. In summary, although there are legitimate reasons to believe that animal and plant endangerment is a severe, or maybe instead of endangerment, extinction, okay, is a severe environmental problem that is faced by many. Today, we can just remove individuals. I do not subscribe to the view that this is the most essential. From my perspective, there are other problems that need to be dealt with effectively, both from the governmental and societal levels. Okay, there you go. Are you ready to see how many words we have written? Okay, because this is properly edited. Okay, we have written 355 words, and this is your writing task 2. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Done in, let me see, plus 4 minutes, 8 plus 4, 12 minutes with editing. Let's say we spent 5 minutes for planning. Let's just, probably consider, or earmark 5 minutes for the preparation time. So that will be 17 minutes. And I still have 23 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, to just look at the piece of work that I did and appreciate the writing. Okay, so there you go. Let me just make this a little smaller so everybody can see. There you have it, guys. All right, so I'm gonna be looking at some comments here from the audience. I'm also going to give you an opportunity to take a picture of the question, as well as the what's this, the plan. Okay, so you can take a picture of this one because this is a free class anyway, although you can replay this again in the future. If you want to have a reference, you can take a picture of this one, right? Hanip, sir. Okay. You're second to none daw, sabi nila. Okay. Hindi naman. Grabe naman. It's very hard to make a sweeping statement like that. Okay. But we are trying our best. Okay. Sir, can we take a screenshot? Yes, sure. Ielts left the room daw. Hindi naman. All right. So let's move on to the essay, right? So I'm going to just make this a little bigger so that everybody can see. And you can also take a photo of this one, okay? So how do you think did I fare? Is this a good writing sample? It's done in 17 minutes. I'm not really expecting that it's like top quality. We can do much better than this one. But in an examination where you're pressed for time, this is, I think, more than enough for you to secure a pretty decent score in your examination. So why not, right? Yeah. So there you go. Am I going to be able to draft a table during the exam because I'm taking the computer delivered exam? No, you can't actually create the table on the computer, but there's a piece of paper that you will be provided during the computer delivered exam. You can write your outline there. You can create a table like this one that I created on the sheet of paper that you have. And once again, guys, I'm telling you, there's no one size fits all approach for all types of questions that you can encounter in your examination. This is just one type out of the many types of questions that you can get. And I'm sure that you will benefit from attending more lectures, perhaps, like lessons that I facilitate for writing, so that you will learn how to address other types of questions as well. This is just, a sample of what you're going to learn if you enroll at 9.09er IELTS Review and Tutorial Center. You're going to be learning more. I do this as well for writing task 1 and also for writing for writing task 2 and literally all of the types of questions, so that you will instantly know how to actually execute things. Because again, that's the problem among many people. People just know how to appreciate good samples for writing. They don't know how to write because nobody's guiding them. So here at 9.09er, we want to be very proactive in teaching you how to write and how to structure things, how to properly execute the writing task, and not just to rely on samples, okay, when teaching. How about for the paper-based examination? Can we write an outline? Definitely, you can write on the question paper and there's enough space for you to write an outline there. You can even highlight the important keywords in the question or underline things there. And that's going to make it a lot easier for you to focus on the keywords in the question and write a very good sample. Sir, can we choose a paper-based exam or computer-based exam even here abroad, like in Jeddah? I'm not sure about what exam types are there, but right now globally we have computer-delivered and paper-based IELTS. So I think it is possible for you to choose. However, I believe that in certain places, especially in the Middle East, there has been a limitation in the conduct of certain types of exams. I'm not sure if it's paper-based or computer-based, but I think they stopped, administering paper or computer-delivered because of safety reasons. So try to ask your center if they're delivering paper-based or computer-delivered examinations. Sir, how about heavy flooding? Will it contradict to the first two due to parallelism? Which one? Yeah, good question. This is a grammar question. So where is that? I'm sorry. Deforestation, poaching. I'm sorry, not that one. Which one? I'm sorry. This one, next, third paragraph. So we have droughts, typhoon, and flooding and heavy floods. Flooding is actually in the gerund form, so it is still a noun. Typhoon and droughts are both nouns as well. And heavy floods is actually typically not how we say it. You know, it is there are heavy. No, flooding is more appropriate there. It's a gerund. It's not a verb, so it is still parallel. Okay. And guys, don't be critical because we worked on this for 17 minutes. If you make mistakes every once in a while, 1 or 2 mistakes, that's not going to impact your score. I told you in grammar for Ielts that if you commit mistakes, as long as they're just minor slips, examiners will forgive you because nobody's perfect. Okay. All right. Flash floods. Yeah, that's also possible if you want to use that. But I wanted to stick to longer, stronger, and heavy. These are actually about intensity. Flash is more about the quality, the quality of flood, what type of flood, as opposed to the intensity. Because I was really rooting for the thought of putting the intensity of climate issues and putting it into light so that there will be greater emphasis on the problem. Yeah, it's your choice. You're free to choose whatever words you want to put. Okay. Hello, sir. Did you try the computer-based exam? Yes, I actually took the computer-delivered examination back in 2019. I also took the paper-based examination back in 2010. In both occasions, my scores were actually pretty okay. I would like to say pretty okay because the lowest grade I've ever gotten in the writing exam is an 8.5. That was during the computer-delivered exam. I wouldn't really necessarily say that the computer-delivered examination is better compared to the paper-based examination. I would say that it will depend on what's more comfortable for you. For example, for me, I'm more comfortable writing on paper compared to the computer, whereas others are actually faster at typing on the computer and they appreciate the fact that they can edit more easily using the computer. So it will actually ultimately depend on which one is your preference. So I can't really say one is better than the other. So you have to figure out which one is best for you. Okay. All right. So I have some questions. You can rewatch this. Can you post this on the dashboard? They're going to post this on YouTube, I guess, and also on the IFNG page, so you can actually see this again in the future if you want to attend this class. This is absolutely free, so if you have friends, you can invite them over to attend this lesson. All right. Okay. So, I have a few questions before I move on to the second leg of this discussion. Right. Impressive, right? Okay, I have a few questions to ask, okay? And I would like to make you realize a lot of things. Number one, did we answer the question? Did we discuss the two views, environmental problems as endangerment or extinction of animals, loss of animals and plants? Did we answer that question, right? And number two, did we also provide other environmental problems? Not just one problem, but problems. Did we? Yep, I think so. In a very balanced fashion. Can you see my paragraphs in the body? Oh my gosh, they're so nice, right? Because they're so ultimately balanced. Like so balanced. It's so organized. Like, look at this, guys. Just looking at this will make you give it a good score, right? Very convincing. Like, just look at it. It looks nice. Looks very organized. It's properly arranged. It's very cohesive. All right, so did we write 250 words? Yes or no? At least 250 words. This is 355 words. Just give me yes or no. Yes. Because I'm trying to assess or ascertain if we're already getting the score that we require for the exam. And of course, we're going to be graded according to those criteria. So I'm putting into light all of those things. Right. Number three, did we provide a clear position? Right. A clear stand. Is there a clear stand? Yep. towards the end. From my perspective, there are other problems that need to be dealt with effectively, both from the governmental and societal levels. That's actually a clear stand right there. Yep. So what grade do I get in task attainment? Pretty high. Very, very high. Next, coherence and cohesion. When we discuss coherence, we're talking about paragraphing. I mean, you don't need to study the layout, structure, and paragraphing of this one. Look at the intro. The intro is, balanced with the conclusion, and the two body paragraphs are equal in length and elaboration. My gosh, that's very good coherence right there. And then we have one paragraph for the first view, and we have another paragraph for the second view. So definitely you're going to get a good score for that, right? And then we have cohesive devices. Okay, I'm going to highlight some of the cohesive devices that we used here in this essay, just so you know what those cohesive devices are. Okay, not only transitional devices, okay? Right, those is actually referencing, it's using a pronoun, who, that, okay? Or, right? However, those, who, this, you see, all of these words are actually cohesive devices. And, right? That, and, okay? There, right? Those, who, okay? That. What else do we have here? We have that, okay? This, right? Because, right? And what else? And on top of this is a very strong signpost phrase, right? Which, thereby, okay? Not only, but also. That is a correlative conjunction right there. And then we have here, on the other hand, that for one, okay, right? What else do we have? And furthermore, they, that. What else do we have for this? Both and end. That's a correlative conjunction as well. What else do we have? Due to, right? And in summary, although, what else do we have here? That, this, from my perspective, that, both, and end. Okay, so what can you notice here? I do not heavily rely on transitional signals or transitional devices. A lot of people just want to use more, over, furthermore, however, on the other hand, in addition, additionally, but you need to use a variety. You don't just want to use one type of transitional device. You want to make sure that there are plenty. And as you can see here, there's just a lot, okay? And there's a variety. I'm not relying on just one transitional signal. So I'm going to get a good score for coherence. My vocabulary, let's take a look at some of the words that we used here. Important environmental issue, confronting, okay, right? What else? Endangerment. These are brand new words. Oppose, strongly, claim, vital, all right? Focusing their attention into, okay, individuals, support, right? Crucial environmental problem, all right? Beset with, point to the fact that, imbalance, ecosystem, food chain, massive, this is a collocation, massive deforestation, indiscriminate poaching and hunting, large scale conversion, animal habitats, commercial residential districts, a verge of extinction. My God, if I don't get a 9 for vocabulary here, something's wrong with the examiner. All right. Engage in activities, fishing, mining, logging, reduce animal and plant population, scarcity of resources, food supply, wild, okay, humans, Assert, okay, climate change, important matters to attend to, phenomenon, intense natural calamities, extreme and unpredictable weather conditions, longer droughts, stronger typhoons, heavy flooding, death of thousands, if not millions of people every year. Vital issue, okay? Pollution, destruction of the environment, polluted, health problems, worldwide population, diseases, respiratory conditions, cancer, decreased air quality, taking a toll, and that's a little bit high level right there. Health, well-being, life expectancy of people. And guys, these came from you. Okay. All right. Legitimate reasons. Okay. Severe environmental problem. Right. Faced. Okay. I do not subscribe to this view. Right. There are other problems effectively governmental, societal levels dealt with. All right. Here's a question from Carlo. Carlo is asking, okay? Carlo is asking whether it is okay to use on the other hand, even if it didn't use on the one hand. Well, they don't actually necessarily have to come in pairs. So on the other hand, maybe use even if you don't have on the one hand, right? So as you can see here, this is full and my grammar is good. I'm proud of my grammar here. My grammar is good. So this is really full. It contains so much. There is just a lot. So, these are words that you know. I'm very, very certain that 100% of the words that I used here are actually words that you also know. But I use them in one essay. Everything, every bit of word here I used, and like every piece of vocabulary here I used in just one 355 word essay. It's like I made full use of the space, and I made full use of the I utilized the 355 words to really show the breadth and extent of my language ability. Right? In Tagalog, sulit. No, siksik, right? It contains so much information and it contains so many words. There are so many transitional signals and also cohesive devices used. Plus, I'm able to respond to the question. So what will cause the examiner to not give me a good score? That's what you want in your examination. That's what you want to achieve in your examination. That when you take the exam, when you set the exam, you don't give your examiner an excuse to flunk you in the test. You don't give the examiner any right to give you a markdown. When you walk out of the room, you know you passed your exam. You cleared the exam because you were able to demonstrate the full range and extent of your language and communication skills. And there's absolutely no reason for the examiner to mark you down. Now, a lot of people don't understand that because nobody is writing in front of them. This is something that is very hard on the part of the lecturer or the instructor because it actually puts on the line the credibility of the instructor. What if I write something that is grammatically wrong? What if I write something that is absolutely ugly? What if I don't respond to the question and I write something that is off topic? Then, my credibility is on the line. But I have actually observed, and here at 9.09er, we have observed that the best way to teach writing is to write. That's the best way to teach writing, to demonstrate writing to people, not to show samples, not to say this is a good piece of writing, right? But to actually tell everyone it is possible, to show everyone it is achievable to complete the examination within 12 minutes. Within 17 minutes in this case, and be able to get a good score because that's empowering to the students. They feel that they're capable, as opposed to when you just present them a very wordy and extremely lengthy sample that's full of a lot of idiomatic expressions or fancy words. They just feel demotivated. They feel very small, too little. They feel that they are not going to be able to produce something that is identical. So this kind of class is very empowering. And if you want to see more of this, please enroll at 9.09 or IELTS Review Tutorial Center. So let me look into some questions here. Okay, sir, is it okay to start the sentence with subordinating conjunctions such as because? Well, it is typically not the correct way of writing it if you're not going to complete the sentence. However, in this case, because is used here, because of massive deforestation, is a dependent clause, but it's followed by an independent clause. Right? In domestic large scale conversion, blah, 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 blah. Many animals and plants nowadays are on the verge of extinction. That's the independent clause. Since it's still followed by an independent clause, it's not really wrong. It's a very uncommon approach. And usually what teachers would say is you avoid using subordinating conjunctions like because or although in the beginning of your sentence, because the tendency is for you not to be able to complete it, and it becomes an incomplete sentence, or it becomes a fragment. It becomes fragmented, detached from the main clause. But if you're proficient, and here at Niner, we don't actually limit you. We don't limit your creative freedom. So if you're proficient and you're capable, you can start your sentences with your subordinating conjunctions, so long as you still can complete the sentence and the sentence will still make sense. Okay, Carlo, I'm sorry, Doreen, is it okay? Yeah, so do we see any other questions here from the crowd? What do you think, right? Can you also do something like this in your examination? Do you think it is possible? One thing that I need to tell everyone is that these ideas are not from me. Yeah, they're not from me, they're from you. I only extracted your thoughts and organize them, put them together in a very cohesive sentence or in a very cohesive paragraph. But all of the ideas came from you. There's no input from me here. I just picked out what you said. So that's very empowering, knowing that your ideas are enough, that your ideas are sufficient for you to get a good score in your exam. Are we done taking pictures, guys? Done taking pictures? I was not informed that this is also this is partly a photography class. Okay, were you able to take good photos? Did the sample pose right? Right. Hopefully you were able to take pictures. So yeah, that's your writing for discussable views and give your opinion. Do you have any questions for me? Right? Any more questions from you guys? Do you want more sessions like this in the future? On the spot writing? What do you think? All right. Will this be helpful for you? Let me know and post our hashtag, right? So that more people will be able to appreciate what we're doing here. And the admin will allow me to do more lessons like this in the future, right? Hopefully, right? So some people would want to take a photo, so yeah, I'm sharing the screen again, and you can take a picture first of the question alongside the outline. There you go, that's the first page. And after that, this is the second page with the highlighted words. The ones in yellow are the cohesive devices, and the ones in green are the lexical resources that we used in the exam. Okay, so I hope that you found this lesson informative. It's not a long lesson, definitely, because this is just on the spot writing. There's so much to learn about writing, more than just executing the task and producing the product. And I hope that you will be part of our review center. You will enroll in our review center so that you can actually learn from me and from the rest of the team how to execute your writing task, and also all of the pointers and reminders on how to create a sample that will give you the best possible results in the test. And now, in conclusion, what do you think is the score that I will get here? Well, personally, I haven't really scored lower than 8.5. So I believe that this is going to get a minimum of 8. And depending on the generosity of your examiner and the fairness of your examiner, up to 9. And this is not even what you need for you to get a 7.0. Imagine the simplicity of this essay and how structured it is. how clear it is, how it conveys the message across very clearly. These are the features that will make you get top scores in the exam, right? Let me check the Facebook Live if you have any questions. There are a lot of people who are posting hearts. Yeah, keep them coming. Thank you so much, right, for all of the love and support. Okay, if you want to see me writing more like this on the spot, please keep on sharing the hashtags and also sharing our posts to your friends, yeah, with your friends, telling them to join us in our sessions in the future so that they can also witness me writing like this in the future. We have some more other tasks, or we have other sessions in the future that we are planning. In fact, we are planning to have writing task 1 as well, right? So hopefully we'll be able to do that, on the spot writing task 1 academic, and on the spot IELTS writing task 1 general training. Yeah, right. So hopefully you'll be all here as well, joining me when I go ahead and discuss with you, your writing task 1 academic and general training on the spot writing. Okay, right. So I think that wraps up tonight. Okay. Yeah, do you accept bank transfer now? Your bank account number, please, Tonette. You can visit our website, shop.nineronlinereview.com, or you can search us on Facebook. Our Facebook is 9.09er official, right? We're going to be posting the links on the message box so that you can see them, right? You can go to shop.nineronlinereview.com or visit us at www.facebook.com/9.09er official to get enrolled if you want to attend our lessons here at 9.09er. And IFNG, thank you so much for the opportunity of allowing me to write one sample. I hope I'm going to be able to do more of these in the future. Let's take it one step at a time, one task at a time, and hopefully we'll have more sessions like this in the future for the benefit of our viewers and followers here at IFNG. And yeah, if you like this, share, right? Sharing is caring. So share this with your friends, your family, or those people who will benefit from this lesson. If they're taking IELTS, please share this video with them. This is going to be recorded and also uploaded on the IFNG YouTube page. So hopefully you'll be sharing this with your friends so that they'll also learn from this lesson. If you found this helpful, share, right? Thank you so much for all of your love and support. And yeah, I think we can end the session here. Admin, hello. How did you find the lecture
Hello,
po?
sir. Oh my God. Ay, parang isa rin ako sa mga student, is speechless actually yung reaction ko. Oh my God. Yung 17 minutes, guys. Parang 3 days kailangan ko para maggawa ng writing. Pero sa kanya 17 minutes lang. Wow.
Yes.
Marvin and Gladys.
Yes. With practice, guys, you can do this. You can do this, certainly. You just need to work hard. You need to learn the strategies, learn the ropes, and then later on, you can execute the same thing in your actual examination. It takes practice. But the first step is to be guided correctly, to learn how to do things properly and correctly, and then everything will follow. Okay.
So,
Thank you,
before we
Roldan
end this, sir.
Gamalo. You're absolutely impressive, sir Brian. Thank you,
Thank you,
IFNG
Sir Brian.
family.
Thank
Yes,
you,
you
Sir
have
Brian.
questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank
So
you so
thank you
much
po.
on
This
behalf
is a
of Marvin.
short session lang po. Sorry.
Yep.
But hopefully malaman naman siya. So marami na natutunan yung mga viewers natin.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, I think that's all for tonight. Thank you so much, Sir Brian. Don't forget to hashtag BrainyBrian 9.0 and share these videos. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night.